Hi, everyone. Welcome to the RockerPod Recap. Ooh, it was day one, or it is day one of competition at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. I am at a loss of words. I am disheveled. My voice is raspy. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we all survived that final group of the women's short program because that was some spectacular skating today. We're going to talk about that. But I'm going to just wait a little bit on that and hold off on gushing about what happened with the women's short program. I'm going to go back in time to what happened earlier today in the pairs short first. It was going to be a very interesting competition with the pairs, and there was a lot that happened with pairs. After the short program, it is Efimova Mitrofanov with a 75.31, about a 7.5 point lead over surprise Audrey Shin and Balazs Naj, 67-67. Don't get me started on the 67-67 because hey kids, that's the second 6-7-6-7 score that we have gotten this week. There was one in junior dance at Canadian Nationals yesterday, and now we have one in the pairs short program. Ellie Cam, Danny O'Shea, 67-13. Plazas Fernandez, 67-03. McBeath Parkman, 66-81. So between second and fifth for the pairs short, less than a point. So a lot of stuff can happen there. And generally, the pair skated very well. Flores and Wang got a 63-58. They have been struggling earlier in the season and been rolling back into form. And this was their best short program of the season. Lou and Bedard, Chelsea Lou has been very sick and is just powering through, and she said she felt better the last couple of days, and she decided that she was going to give it a shot here. 62-34 in seventh place. But the big surprise was Emily Chan and Spencer Howe. You have not heard me talk about them yet, and I've talked about 7 pairs so far. They are in 8th place right now. It was rough. The side by side triple toes didn't go off as intended. They actually landed a very nice one in practice earlier in the day in program, and she doubled hers, but that was not the worst of it. The worst of it was on their entry to their throw triple loop. She tripped and fell, and it completely messed with their pattern, and they had to scramble to figure out how to get that triple loop off the ice and back into their choreography. And so all of that scrambling led to another fall on the triple loop. So they had to take 2 falls. They basically didn't have a side-by-side jump. And then on top of that, they had a time violation at the beginning of their program that took them too long, over 30 seconds to get to their starting position. And so all of that, and they're at a 59-29. They're not out of it yet. But the problem is they're in 8th place, which means they are, uh-oh. Am I great? Somehow my camera doesn't work. There we go. We're back. Shannon Howe in 8th place is a problem because what happens in the last 2 days is that the first group of all of the competitions actually and of all the free skates get split into the morning. And so even though Chan and Howe are about what 7.6, 7, 8 points behind Cam and O'Shea right now, who are third, they're skating early in the day, whereas the last 2 groups will skate later in the day, and the dynamics are going to be so different in that group one because there aren't going to be as many people in the audience. It's a very different kind of vibe, and so they're going to have to generate their own energy, which frankly could be good for them. That maybe it takes the pressure off, or it could be it could work out of their favor because they're not actually spending their time being hyped up by the audience. So we'll see what happens. But Chan and Hao didn't do themselves favors, and the old saying of you can't win a competition in a short program, but you can lose it. That was a lot of that happened there. Efimova Mitrofanov skated a very good short program. The only issue was his hand down on their side by side triple toe. She landed a beautiful one. I mean, she has this knack of doubling a lot of stuff in practice and then doing it in when it counts the most in competition, and she did it here. Shin and Naj skated one of their best short programs of this season. And they were actually fairly early on in the group in the skate order, and so they had to wait and wait and wait after their scores came up, and that 67 score that they got could have even been higher because one, her triple toe got called a Q, so there was a little bit of points off on the grades of execution, but they also lost levels on a couple of their things. So, had they been clean, they would have been over 70 likely with that program. So they have to be with that. Cam and O'Shea, on the other hand, less happy with what their effort was. They really wanted to be in contention for gold here with Efimov and Mitrofanov. That was the storyline coming in was, who of those two will end up taking their second national title. And they're now in third, half a point behind Shin and Naj. They can make that up for sure. They can even make up the difference with Efimov and Mitrofanov. Depends on how everybody does. But Cam fell on her solo triple sow. She's been on rock solid on those solo jumps this week, and she just rushed it a little bit. The takeoff was a little bit off, and she went off axis, and there was no saving it. And then stepped out of her triple loop, which was not throw triple loop, which was not the worst thing in the world. But that all of that just took them out of contention for that top spot. Plus, Fernandez had a really good skate, that one of the best skates of their career. It was good to see them land their side-by-side jumps. That's a nemesis for them. And so they're in fourth. They're very close among those three teams. And then McBeath Parkman was looking like they were going to go into that second place spot, but had a big issue with a medium issue with their lift where he brought her up a little bit too quickly. The footwork was a little messy. I think they missed a couple features because he had to set her down earlier, and so it became a level 2 lift instead of level 4, which takes off some points, and then the grades of execution were lower than expected. So that's the pair short. Tried to get through that as fast as I could because I want to talk about the women's short program. Oh my Lord, I'm still reeling over what we saw in that final group. And that final, the privilege that I've had the pleasure to have over the past couple of weeks of seeing Japan Nationals women's free skate and now U.S. Nationals women's short program. I mean, it was mind blowing how good that was, especially that last group. And you looked at the first couple of groups, I was like, okay, yeah, that's what we sort of expected. But really, kind of as soon as Josephine Lee hit her short program, the best short program she's hit in quite a while. The only thing was just an under rotation on her triple toe, and then Star Andrews had a pretty good short. Her triple toe was under rotated as well, but those were the last two in the second to last group, and they really set up the rest of that, the rest of the slate with a really good foundation. And oh my goodness, it was just like one after another after another. The biggest mistake in that final group was Elise Lynn Gracie stepping out of her triple lutz triple toe. I mean, it just mind boggling how good it was. And it wasn't just that the jumps were landed, it was that the programs were good, it was that the crowd was amazing, it was that everybody just skated like they were having a good time out there. And so, I talk about Lisa Lynn Gracie. One of the things that has been such a change for her this week that I've seen and noticed is that she's been relaxed. I mean, I don't think she thinks that she really has much of a chance for the Olympic team at all. I mean, I think she came here for a nationals experience to close out her season well and all that kind of stuff, especially after a rough fall season. But the new coaching team, she looks like she's has a different mentality coming in. I've never seen her be as relaxed in practice. I've seen her practice quite a few times. She was smiling in her short program. I mean, the way that her just general aura was just so different, and it was so good to see. And even Amber Glenn afterwards commented that she was excited for Elise because she looked happy out there, and it was really good to see. So she set us up, right? She set up that last group, and then came Sarah Everhart, who's had also a bit of a rough season. Went out there and skated a clean short. The triple lutz triple toe was called clean. I think the toe probably was a little bit of a, could it be clean? Could it not be clean? They called it clean. And she puts out a 70 plus program for the first time this season. Brady Tennell comes out, skates a very good short program. The only thing was a quarter rotation call on the triple toe, and she looked great. She looked happy. She looked satisfied with what she was able to put out there. And then, oh my goodness, the final three. I mean, I was talking to them in the press conference about this, and one, they just like, there's the mutual love and respect. It was very reminiscent of what we saw at Japan Nationals, where everybody was just supporting each other. And I think it was Alyssa who was saying in the press conference that they know they're out there to entertain people, and maybe it was Amber who said that they're out there to do a job for themselves, and that like whatever they do, like whatever other people do, should not affect them. And it's this really healthy mentality of competition that they have, that I think has just been so good for them over the past few years. And I mean, there's a reason why the three of them were in the top 5 at Worlds last year, and the way that they skated today backed that up so well. And in fact, probably for Alyssa, the best short program of her life. For Isabeau, a very good, clean short program, something that she can be proud of, among the top short programs that she's ever done. Amber Glenn, I think, hands down, the best short program of her life. And that was back to back to back. And that was everybody following everybody else and knowing what they scored, right? I mean, Alyssa Liu goes out there and gets an 81. Isabeau was watching Alyssa skate, and she was like, "Oh, 81, what a great score!" And then she goes and skates a clean short program. She gets a 75, 72. And then Amber goes out there knowing that Alyssa and Isabeau and Brady and Sarah just laid it down there, and it was the freest short program that we have ever seen from Amber. A triple axel set the tone, and then the flip toe was the best that it's been all season. And then once she got out the loop, that footwork was just, I mean, it was electric. So I actually talked to her afterwards and was commenting on that triple flip, triple toe, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I got an 83, and international it was probably going to be like a 78 or something." And I was like, "No, but internationally, a lot of the times she would skate something that's clean, but things get scratchy, right? The axle can come down a little bit, kind of curled out. The triple toe especially can get a little bit scratchy and lose speed at the end. And this was very different. Like the way that she landed those jumps today were really good, and she recognized that, and she was telling me that during between Grand Prix final and here, she spent time working with her team actually on the crossovers on the way down to the patterning for the triple flip triple toe, because she says she sometimes gets really a little bit tight going down the ice, and the extra work that she did on that patterning actually helps her get that flip toe actually closer to the boards with bigger ice coverage, and that's what we saw today. It was a lot more of a big free airy combo than what we've seen all season, which has been very tight. So anyway, I mean, whew, technique aside, all of that stuff, it was just so great to see that final group. Amber Glenn 83.05 leads Alyssa Liu 2 points behind 88 or 81 and 11. Isabella Vito 75-72. So that top three was incredible. And then Sarah Everhart 71-10. Brady Tennell 69-53. Star Andrews 65-77. So that will be your final group going into the free skate. Oof. It was good. It really was a final group of short programs for the ages, and I hope this energy continues. I certainly hope it continues tomorrow with the rhythm dance and the men's short program. I'm gonna go relax. I don't know. I'm probably gonna go and watch those programs again, because I like half the time I was just sitting there being flabbergasted. And if you're in the audience and you spotted me, watching me watch figure skating is an adventure in itself. So anyway, I'm redo my hair. Thank you so much for following, for loving skating, all that kind of stuff. I had a couple folks who were asking me about supporting rocker skating. As you know, all this stuff is free, and I intend to keep it free for folks. No Patreons, no paywalls, no nothing. If you are so inclined to help support rocker skating and all the wall-to-wall coverage, and obviously there is an Olympics trip coming up, and all of this stuff. This is not cheap. It's not free. But please go to rockerskating.com/pins. Grab yourself a pin, because they're flying out of my bag right now. All of these skaters are excited about all these protocol pins, and they're great. But if you're able to support, great. I'm forever grateful. If you're not, also great. Just keep following. I mean, I can't do any of this without you all. By the way, the other thing I wanted to just point out, I got one of these that were very cool. I think this would be a collector's item. Somebody's going to want one of these. It is a those placards that you hang on the door when you're like, do not disturb. Jason Brown, do not disturb, because I'm going to be dreaming of a perfect program. That's what I'm going to do. All right. As I dream of a perfect program tonight, hope you all do as well. And we'll come back tomorrow, and we will hope that the ice will continue to bless us with some very good skating, the rhythm dance, and the men's short programs tomorrow. So have a good night, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.